In this video, we are going to cover the concept of journeys in Guide. And journeys is where the real magic comes together. And so once we've created our stage templates and we've created a set of content that will show for each interview stage of a given role, journeys is where we tie all of those stages together so that we show them to the candidate at the right moment, at the right stage for the right role. So there are two ways to set up role journeys from the Journeys tab on your nav bar. The first is creating a journey for an individual role or rec in Greenhouse. The second is through bulk actions, where you can select or filter by, say, an entire group of roles, like the engineering department roles in Greenhouse, and then use bulk actions to create a journey for all of those roles at once. Today, we'll be focusing on the individual role option. And so once you're viewing your Journeys tab in Guide, you will notice that Guide automatically pulls in all of your open recs in Greenhouse. And here under Stages Added, we'll show you how many stages, stage templates in other words, we've added of all of the interview stages that exist for these roles. And you can see that our Senior AE role has not yet been set up with any. So that's what we'll be working on now. So I'm going to click into this role and I can see that I have a blank space here to start adding stages to my journey. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And the first stage of the interview process for this role is really the phone screen. And so I'm going to go ahead and select that Greenhouse stage and I'm going to associate that stage with the phone screen template that I created for sales roles. And then lastly, in another video, we'll cover email confirmation templates, but I also have an IPS confirmation email template that I will use to send this update to the candidate. So now that I've got all of these associated, I'm going to go ahead and add this stage to my journey. Now you can see one stage has been added, which includes an update to the guide when a candidate reaches the IPS stage in Greenhouse. We're going to go ahead and display the content from the phone screen sales roles stage template. And you can see that previewed here. And then finally, we're going to suggest when we want to go send this to the candidate, an email template that we have pre-created. So we could just send this whole thing to a candidate in their confirmation email with just the click of a button. And again, we'll cover that in another video. But I'm going to go ahead and add the remaining stages to my journey. So after the phone interview, we have an on-site for our sales roles. And I've gone ahead and created a team interview stage template. And finally, a on-site confirmation email. Took me a minute to find that. We're going to go ahead and add this stage to our journey as well. And so now we have a second stage and a second email template that shows. And you can see that in the preview, because we have the candidate tracker, the interview tracker turned on, which means we're going to show the candidates how many stages there are in the interview process. You can now switch between previewing both of these stages. And this is what will show the candidate once they get moved to this stage in Greenhouse. Until they do, this will be locked for them. They won't be able to click into it. And so finally, we've created an offer stage as well, which is a fun option, and an offer extend confirmation. So we've built a stage template to show candidates once they reach the offer stage. It's quite congratulatory. And same with the confirmation email. And we're going to go ahead and finally add this stage to the template. Now you can see all three stages exist. Here's what our offer template looks like. And you might notice that the language here that shows for what these stages are called in Greenhouse is the most candidate friendly. So I can go ahead and actually edit this. But first, I'm going to edit the name of the actual rec that the candidate sees. instead of senior account executive, I'm going to go ahead and override that name and instead create a display name that is senior AE. It's a little shorter. It's a little bit more like how I might say this verbally. And you can see that update here. And then finally, for each stage, we have the same ability. We can actually override the stage display name itself, which you could see here. So I might just call this phone screen. And now once I click out of this box, you'll notice that this will update now, and that's what the candidate will see. And I can keep doing this with each stage. You could see that I've already renamed my on-site one in Greenhouse to team interview, which is what the candidate will see. An offer, I might spice this up just a little bit by going into the offer stage and adding an exclamation point. Now you can see in the preview, here are my 3 stages that any candidate that interviews for the senior account executive role will get in their journey. That is an overview of setting up the basics of a candidate journey, and in a future video we'll cover doing this both in bulk and more specifics for how you can edit display names and descriptions of particular interviews in a schedule and more.